Hi everyone, let's just wait for a few minutes and let's wait for other people to jump onto the call. Thank you guys so much. We're going to be talking all things KonMari today and how it can help with your mental space as well. So it's beyond tidying. KonMari is beyond tidying. So we're going to be talking more about the therapeutic aspects of KonMari today. So let's just wait for a minute and get more people to jump on before we get started with all things KonMari. Thank you guys so much for the warm welcome. I'm so excited to be here. Happy Friday, guys. So thanks so much for inviting me, Small Changes. Volunteering is actually a cause that's really close to my heart. I have been volunteering since I moved to Malaysia nearly 2 years ago. So I volunteer at an organization called Dignity for Children. You can follow them over at Dignity for Children. They are an amazing organization and a school for the underprivileged and refugee community. They have been around for 20 years already, more than 20 years already. They are an amazing school, and I actually volunteer there. I help with the fundraising team, and I give tours as well. So once the lockdown is over, if you guys ever want tours, please just contact me. I'm more than happy to give you guys tours of this really amazing school once everything is back to the new normal. So thank you guys so much for joining. Really big thank you to Small Changes for inviting me as well. I feel like what they do is really amazing with providing a platform and a network for how people can easily volunteer, and it helps to empower people as well. I think that regardless of whatever religion you are, I think in all religious scriptures, it all talks about selfless serving, and also just generous giving. So I think this is something that is so pertinent in our spiritual growth, whatever your religious background may be. And for me, volunteering is really about serving with whatever ability we have in any capacity we can. So for me, because my background is in marketing, PR, and events as well, this was before my KonMari career change. So because of my background, so this is how I serve, and this is how I give back. So I help out with the fundraising team and help them with whatever marketing initiatives that they might have as well. So I volunteer at an organization called Dignity for Children. It is an amazing school. So if you guys are interested, please do check them out. They are on Instagram and Facebook as well. They do amazing work. I wish I could spend the 30 minutes talking about them, but we will jump into KonMari because my time is really limited today. So I have to keep an eye on the time as well. I only have 30 minutes with you guys today. For the newcomers, if you guys have any questions, please just feel free to just drop it into the chat box, and I will do my best to keep up with the questions as well as they come along. So for people who are new to KonMari, if you haven't read the book before, she actually has a Netflix show. It's called Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. So you can check that out because it was released last year around January, and it was a runaway success. So when I became a consultant, you actually have to go through a process of applying, going to the consultancy course, and also doing practice clients and reports and tests, and then you get approved and you get certified to become a KonMari consultant. So during my course, when Marie Kondo came up on stage and she was doing the opening speech, she actually shared that her Netflix show is aired in 190 countries worldwide, and her show is consistently ranked throughout all the countries that it's aired in. So this just proves that clutter is a universal problem, regardless of your age, your gender, or whatever background as well. So I thought that was really pertinent because it is really something that we all struggle with, whatever our background may be. And what her method does is that by decluttering our physical space, it actually helps you to gain mental space. You will be creating new mental space in your mind. So I think that is something that is so powerful. So think about that for a second. By decluttering your physical space, you will be creating new mental space. And don't we all want that right now as well? Ooh, hold on, sorry. Here we go. Sorry. Okay, so, like, I think that's something that is so pertinent, especially right now in this day and age. I don't know if you guys are all still working from home or you guys are kind of transitioning back into working at the office. So if you don't mind sharing, then go ahead and share what your working situation is right now as well, because I will also share some tips from her latest book, which is called Joy at Work. So she recently released a new book. It's called Joy at Work. And that book is talking about how we can bring joy into the workspace. So Marie Kondo's method, what makes it so special is that rather than focusing on what we want to remove, the negative, we are focusing on the positive, what we want to surround ourselves with. And what we want to surround ourselves with is joy. Right? So we want to be able to surround ourselves with maximum joy. Like, even though we're applying this in our physical belongings, whether it be clothing or, clothing, books, paper, komono is miscellaneous in Japanese, and then we have sentimental items. So those are the 5 categories of KonMari. So we have clothing, we have books, we have paper, we have the komono, which is miscellaneous items, and then we have sentimental items. So we actually have 5 categories in the KonMari method, and she breaks it down for us. So for people who are just jumping on and who are really interested in trying out the method themselves, if you go onto my page, Spark Joy Malaysia, then you will see the link in my bio that actually takes you to my closed Facebook group. So if you're interested, I actually have all of the resources available there. So it actually gives you a guide as well. So if anyone wants to take on the challenge, because the first category is clothing. So I do take you through a 6-day closet challenge. So you'll be able to find all of the resources, head over to Spark Joy Malaysia account, and then you'll be able to click on the link and that will take you to the closed Facebook group. So all of the information is readily available. It's all free for anyone who wants to attempt to KonMari at home, especially right now when we have more time at home, right? So if anyone is keen to check it out, do go over to my page and then join the group. And so today I'll be sharing a little bit more about the methodology and the principles as well, and also how it can help us with our mental health too. So I think this is something that's really important right now, because especially since, thank God it's Friday. I'm sure that everyone has had really crazy weeks. A lot is going on in the world right now as well. So when the world is feeling chaotic on the outside, what will help us the most? A calm mind. And recently I just read a quote, and it was about a calm mind is the greatest weapon against all our challenges. So a calm mind is the greatest weapon against our challenges. And I think that is something that's really, really important. For me personally, I've actually had depression and anxiety since I was 11 years old. So for me, I've struggled through it throughout my childhood. And then because I didn't want to be medicated. So this is something that I was able to overcome. I'm still dealing with it, but then I feel stronger because I have a lot of the tools available. Obviously through therapy as well, and then also, my volunteer work as well, because whenever I'm able to give, that actually helps me to stay grounded. And also I just love the people that I work with at Dignity as well. Like they really spark joy for me. The organization sparks joy for me, and also the people that I work with are phenomenal as well. So it always helps to just ground me, and this is something that is really close to my heart too. So, I have all of these toolkits, right? Because I need to also be able to strengthen myself too. It's like a mental workout. We have to keep strengthening our mind if we want to have a calm mind, which is why meditation is so important right now as well. Meditation is super mainstream now, right? Before, people thought that it was so out there, but now it's so mainstream because there is a lot of scientific data to back up the benefits of it. So even for decluttering as well. For example, decluttering, if you declutter and tidy your space for 10 minutes, it actually reduces your cortisol levels. It is scientifically proven where it will reduce your cortisol levels. So one tip that I can provide you guys as well is anytime you feel like you've been looking at the screen for a little bit too long, you're feeling a little bit cracked out as well, like just kind of like going crazy, just take a moment, take a step away, and then just quickly scan your room. See if anything needs to be put away. Maybe dishes need to be washed, or maybe, dishes need to be washed, or maybe there's some things like in the wrong places. Just put it away, and then it will actually help you to feel relaxed. And sometimes a lot of times it will give you that mental clarity. So maybe you were working on a really tough assignment or a challenge, and then just by stepping away from it, you gain fresh perspective, and also you're productive too. So you actually get your space is more tidy, and you feel relaxed, and you might solve whatever assignment or challenge that you might have been facing too. So I just wanted to share that tip with you because it's something that's really, really simple. Like, just 10 minutes, time yourself, right? Just give yourself 10 minutes, do something like just tidy or declutter just for 10 minutes, and then it will actually help to relax you as well. And we all need that healthy boundaries away from our work and our screen times as well. So I hope that tip will help you guys a little bit as well. So with KonMari, I don't know if you guys have heard, I guess if you guys are new to it, so she has coined the term Spark Joy, which is why my handle is called Spark Joy Malaysia. So Spark Joy is trademarked by Marie Kondo, and Spark Joy is just a feeling. It's like that feeling of something that brings you maximum joy. So just think of a really happy memory, or just think about wearing your favorite outfit. How does it make you feel? And do you feel like the cells of your body rising? You feel lifted. You might feel like happiness, like swelling around your chest area as well. This is what spark joy means. Like maybe for some people, they don't really resonate with the term spark joy, and that's totally fine. You can use other terminology. For example, you can say, does this serve a purpose, or does it have a meaning behind it, right? So what we're doing is, as we're going through all of our belongings, rather than saying, okay, I'm going to throw it away, I'm just going to throw it away, we are being reflective and we are being mindful as we are going through each belonging, right? So let's say, for example, let me give you an example then. Okay, so let's say, for example, I'm like, this is my kid's toy. So let's just use this for example, because this is on the table as well. Oh, actually, you know what? This is actually a good one. I'll be like, okay, this is my battery pack, right? It's kind of broken. It's like taped up right now. It's not 100% sparking joy for me right now, but it's functional. So the function of it sparks joy for me, right? And I can also think about, okay, you know what? Maybe it's almost time for an upgrade. So I can start thinking about what do I want to upgrade it to, and what will it spark joy? Or I can think, you know what? I don't want to be wasteful. I want to use it until it dies off. And I'm happy with that. So it really helps you to reflect on the contentment aspect as well, and also the gratitude too. So, or you know what? If I'm going to get rid of it, I can think, okay, rather than saying, I'm just going to throw it away. It's done. It's a piece of junk. So rather than focusing on the negative, what we will do is, okay, this battery pack has died and it's served its purpose, and I'm grateful for it. And then you're able to let it go. So gratitude practice is actually really deeply rooted in the KonMari method. So what we're doing is we're actually showing gratitude for everything, and that this is why it's such a mental workout. Because it's hard to train our brain to be thinking in such a positive way, right? Because especially if you have anxiety or depression or anything like that, because that's how it was for me. I would have an automatic negative thought pattern. I would think to myself, oh, I'm so wasteful, or oh, I can never do this, or I'll never be able to do this and that, you know. So it was a very, very negative thought pattern. But rather than that, what we're doing is we are rewiring our brain through the gratitude practice. And I think that is something that is really, really powerful. Have you guys heard of, like, you know, growth mindset and fixed mindset before? It's really popular in business as well. So with growth mindset, and you know, we are seeing that we this is challenging, but I can do this. So that's the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. And I think that's something that's really powerful, and we all need to keep on practicing, because acquiring information is passive. You know, you guys can listen to this talk and you can acquire this information, but this is all passive. Until we put it into practice, then that will become active. So for people who are newcomers, who are just jumping onto the call, if you guys are interested to find out more about KonMari and how you can kickstart your KonMari journey at home through the closet challenge, because closet is the first challenge, it's the first category that we do with KonMari, then you guys can head over to Spark Joy Malaysia, and on my link, then there will be a page to the Facebook group, so you can join that, because you will have all the access to all the free resources that I post up. And then there's also, like, you know, everyone's really friendly as well, and everyone just shares their successes as well. So, like, you know, if you like a good before and after picture, do join the fun as well. We will be able to cheer and root for each other too. The reason why we go through the 5 different categories of the KonMari method, the reason why it goes from clothing and then we go into the high intensity workout, is because the clothing category is similar to the light workouts, right? Like, let's say that, because I always love using the exercise working out analogy, because I don't like working out at all. So that is a struggle for me. So I always have to find ways to make it spark joy for me. Like, for example, okay, I like doing yoga and Pilates, so that's typically what I do. And I know that with my personality, I need to be held accountable. So I need to have an accountability buddy, or I have to go attend a class as well. So with the analogy of the exercising, number one category is clothing. So with the clothing category, that's like the light workout, because we are exercising your decision-making muscles. And through that exercise, we are strengthening your decision-making muscles and your definition of joy. And then we'll get to the sentimental items, because the sentimental items is the high intensity workout. So, you know, for people who have never worked out before, you're not going to go straight into high intensity workout. So this is why we go in the correct order of the KonMari method. So that's why it's clothing, books, paper. Komono means miscellaneous, and miscellaneous actually encompasses a lot. So it would be everything from bathroom goods, kitchen goods, like toiletries, hobby items, you know, like your tools, all of that will go under komono. So komono is a really big category. So that's why it's reserved for the 4th category. So if you guys are interested to find out more, please head over to my IG, Spark Joy Malaysia, and then you'll be able to access the Facebook group through my link in bio. And then it'll make it a lot easier for you to set yourself up and get started, because I actually have a lot of writing prompts, and I also have goal setting worksheets as well, because I always like to share that, you know, having hope and wishing, because a lot of people actually come to me and they say, oh, I wish I can KonMari. I wish that my home is decluttered. I wish that, you know, my husband was like more tidy. You know, wishing and hoping is great, but it's not a plan. So if you want to get anything done, we have to plan for it. And then this is where I come into place. I will give you the best practice tips as well. I will try my best to set you up for success. And this is why we have this Facebook group too, because it actually helps people, it'll guide people, and if you have any questions, then people just ask in the group as well. So through the decluttering for people who have just joined on, because today we are talking about how KonMari can help with your stress levels. It can actually help you to reduce. This is not a silver bullet by any means. It doesn't mean that you'll be cured of anything. It just means that you will be aligned. Because you have that mental clarity, you will know exactly what joy means to you, because we are honing in your decision-making muscles, right? So a lot of the times, like what happens is, think back to your childhood. Were you, maybe as a child, you were told what to do, how to behave. I certainly was. I was always trying to please my elders, whether it be my parents, teachers, even peers as well, like aunts and uncles, all that kind of stuff too. So from a very, very young age, it was almost as if my voice was suppressed. I was really afraid of saying things because I was so afraid of saying the wrong thing. So what happens is that, you actually lack that confidence because you are so afraid. You're living in fear of saying the wrong thing. So I will also share with you guys that actually up until nearly less than 3 months ago, I was completely petrified of public speaking, like literally like I couldn't even speak up during family reunions because I was so scared of saying the wrong thing. I would actually burst into tears just thinking about public speaking as well. So I just want you guys to for people who had just jumped on as well, I just want to share my personal experience, like how I have dealt with my anxiety and depression and a lot of my fears too. You're able to unpack a lot of it because with the KonMari method, it is introspective and you are rewiring and you are practicing as well. You are aligning yourself with what sparks joy for you and what is best for you too. So that just makes it a lot easier for your life to flow and be able to do what's best for you, because you're not necessarily living for other people, if that makes sense. You're living for yourself, right? So I think this is a pivotal moment for KonMari that was so revolutionary for me, because I think I was able to truly reflect and stop thinking about pleasing other people. You're able to really reflect and think, okay, you know what, like what sparks joy for me? It's like, just let your mind wander. And there is an exercise that we do with the KonMari, which is imagining your ideal lifestyle. So let your mind wander and you have to let your desires come out as well. Just like, don't even think about, oh, I can't afford this, oh, I have no time for this, or anything like that. What happens is that one of the main exercises we do before we actually start the decluttering is we imagine our ideal lifestyle. So for me personally, I moved to Malaysia 2 years ago with my family. I have 2 young girls. They're currently 4 and 6 years old. So the reason how we ended up here is actually really due to KonMari. Her book is actually called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. And it's really true. Like, I'm not the only one who had experienced the life-changing magic. It's happened to countless others as well. So some people might call it the extreme post-KonMari side effects, because after you declutter your physical belongings, you start to look at other areas of your life, whether it sparks joy for you or not. For example, you will reevaluate your relationships. You'll be thinking, okay, about your friendships, your love life, your work life as well. And then you'll start to think, okay, is this sparking joy for me or not? Like, what is the purpose and the meaning as well? And then just thinking, okay, it's not jiving with me, but why am I staying in this relationship too? So this is the area where you can start to apply it into all other areas of your life. And then with her latest book as well, which is called Joy at Work, it was released just recently. So you can apply the KonMari method into your work life as well. Like, for example, your business contacts too. It's not about quantity, it's really about quality. If you have too many people that you're trying to maintain contact with, then the relationship might just be just on the surface level. Whereas if you can reflect more deeply on it, then you can think about, okay, I want to cultivate and nurture these few relationships. So when you're aligned with what sparks joy for you and what brings you joy and meaning, then your life flows much more effortlessly. Of course, you will have challenges. We will always have challenges in our life, right? But like I said earlier as well, like one of my favorite quotes that I read recently is, a calm mind is the greatest weapon against our challenges. A calm mind is the greatest weapon against our challenges. So decluttering calms your mind, right? So and the gratitude practice also calms your mind as well. So this is, it's like amplified. You're grateful and you're also decluttering your physical space. So visually you feel calm. Have you guys ever been in a space where it's really cluttered? How does that make you feel? Do you feel anxious? Like imagine going into a shop and it's completely decluttered. It's completely cluttered. You won't really feel inspired to shop, right? Like I'm sure we've been to those sort of shops before where there's so much stuff everywhere. You're gonna feel really, really overwhelmed. You're not gonna feel inspired to buy things as well. Okay, so let me just answer a question. How do we deal with friendships and relationships that don't spark joy? So I actually went through this myself. I used to feel really bad, like, I have a people-pleasing tendency. So this was one of the things that I had been working through over the course of the years, to be able to realign myself and also just to gain back control of myself as well. And so one of the things that happened was, okay, to give you a little bit of backstory, what happened was we used to live in Hong Kong. That's where we lived prior to Malaysia. And after we decluttered our home, about a year later, I sat down with my husband and we started to think, okay, where do we want to raise our family? Because I had just given birth to my youngest, and my eldest was, she wasn't even 3 years old yet. So we started thinking, where do we want to raise our family? And then we just thought, like this, it's not here. And we started thinking about the qualities of the place where we want to raise our family. And we were thinking, okay, we want to raise them somewhere with a warm community, and we also want them to learn Chinese too. So we weren't sure where we would end up. And one of the things that we also discussed was that we need to spend more time with family. Our families are really all over the place. My husband's side of the family, they live in Scotland and Ireland, and my side of the family, they live in Taiwan, Japan, Hong Kong, and China as well. So they're all over the place, and then we also have friends and family everywhere too. So what we did was we packed up our belongings and we traveled for a whole entire year with our little kids, our 2 little girls. They weren't even 1 and they weren't even 3 at that time. So we traveled, we did slow travel for an entire year. Every place we spent a minimum of 1 month in, and we were able to really reconnect with our friends and family because we were aligning ourselves with what matters most. We thought, like just working ourselves to death and just not being able to spend time with our family who lives overseas, maybe only seeing them, once or twice a week out of an entire year, that's just not enough for us. So then we're like, okay, we took the plunge, we traveled for a whole year. And during that time, that is when I started reflecting on relationships that don't spark joy. So and at that time, it felt really challenging for me. So I completely understand and I completely empathize as well. But what actually helped soften it was much later on, I realized that goodbyes aren't forever, right? Like you might not be in the same headspace at that moment and this moment, but you have to hold hope that in the future, you might be able to reconnect again, right? Like maybe your paths are kind of going like this right now, like I have friends where I had kids and I was a young mom, a new mom, and then my friends who didn't have kids, then, they couldn't really understand. So our paths just diverged. But what happened was, over the course of the few years, then, we reconnected again. And I think that's really beautiful. Even if it takes like 3, 4, 5, 6 years to reconnect, we always hold space. We hold space for the fact that, relationships can pick up again. So that's how it is even with KonMariing as well, because I only work with people who are committed. That's actually rule number 1 of KonMari. You have to commit yourself to tidying. It's the same as working out with a fitness trainer. If you're not going to commit yourself, even if you get a personal trainer, you're not going to see any results. So I compare myself to a personal trainer, but it's more for the decluttering and the mental space realm, because for people who are self-starters, let's say, people who can watch YouTube videos and they can work out, they can go to the gym and go on a treadmill. Those are the self-starters. They can watch the Netflix show, they can read the book, and then they can do it themselves, right? They can just follow it and do it themselves. And then also with my Facebook group too, all the resources are there. If you want to do it yourself, you can. You have all the access to it. But for some people, you actually need a little bit more help. You might need to get a personal trainer to hold you accountable, to get you into the gym to work out. And then that's where I come into place. So this is what a KonMari consultant does. So the clients that I work with are people who typically need a little bit more help and support and hand-holding. Right now, I am doing virtual tidy sessions as well. So actually what I am doing with the virtual tidying sessions is that I am doing a pay-as-you-can format. So it is a fundraising initiative for Dignity for Children where I volunteer at. So like I said, right now, because typically I usually go into Dignity once a week, every Thursday, but because I'm physically not able to go right now, so if you guys, so what I thought was, okay, even though I'm stuck at home with the kids and everything, but I still want to be able to give back. So this is what I'm doing. Like I am doing a fundraising initiative for Dignity as well. So I'm actually waiving my typical fees. It's just pay what you can. It's direct donations to Dignity. And then what happens is that we actually have a virtual tidying session. So I go through it with clients one-on-one to see what your space is like, what your obstacles are, and I will plan and set you up for success so that you will be able to KonMari too. And I'll just give you all the guideline and structure to do that as well. So this is what I do as a KonMari consultant, and I also do corporate workshops as well. So I am helping a lot of corporate clients right now where I coach them virtually in like big group settings, and I coach them just like how I was sharing on my Facebook group. On my Facebook group, there is actually, a structured 6-day challenge with all the tips and everything to get you started on the first category, which is clothing. So I actually coach this, and it's the same format to corporate clients too. And so you'll see a lot of people who might have attended my courses, and then they will actually be in the group as well. And then a lot of them, after they have finished with the clothing challenge, because they build up the momentum, they know how it works, because what we're doing is like, okay, does this spark joy for me or not? I'll be like, you know what, like, even though I love the memory behind it, like, oh, I won this at the arcade with my kids, but it served its purpose already, so I'm ready to let it go. And then we put in that gratitude practice as well. So we're able to reflect on the whys and the whys behind why we want to keep things, and the whys behind why we want to let go of things too. So, oh my goodness, oh my gosh, I'm over time, guys, so sorry. Thank you guys for spending your Friday with me. If you guys have any questions, please do message me. I love hearing from people. If you have any questions you felt a little bit shy to share during this session, you can message me privately over at Spark Joy Malaysia. Join the group if you are keen to get started on the challenge as well, the clothing challenge. I'm your biggest cheerleader, and I will be rooting for you. So please, join the group and join the fun. It is something to be joyful and happy about. Thank you so much to Small Changes for inviting me for the talk today as well. I love what you guys do to promote and support a volunteer network to empower individuals. So big thank you for everything that you do for the community. And just remember that we can serve with whatever ability that we have in any capacity that we have as well.